Grow My Cleaning Company teaches owners of cleaning companies just like you how to grow your company, make more money, and finally take charge of your financial future and your life. This podcast is about automating and creating systems that give you time and money freedom so you can grow like crazy without losing control. Since this is totally free, if you're getting tons of value, want to support us and make sure that you get more of the good stuff, subscribe, rate, and review to this podcast today. Now, on to the show. Cleaning Nation, welcome to the Grow My Cleaning Company podcast. I'm Mike Campion. I have the amazing, the intractable, the spectacular Rodney Lie. It's spelled L-I-E, and I've known him for years, and I think I've called him Rodney Lie for quite a while now, and he kindly, gently encouraged me that it's not Lie, it's Lee, even though it's spelled like Lie. This guy is the owner, the proprietor of Office Pride in Denver, Colorado. They started August 2008. This guy generally or specifically serves dental and orthodontic offices across the entire South Denver area. We are going to share his story of, I believe, success. I know success, but I don't know where it came from. One of the most exciting thing about this guy is he is one of our next level members. And the exciting part about that is one of our events, he's like, I was your podcast guest number 6. And this was when we had passed the 600 mark on podcasts. And I was like, that name, Rodney Lie, that sounded so familiar. You're that guy. So I am dying to literally tell his story of starting from 2008 to when we first talked on the podcast, which had to be 4 or 5 years ago, because we've been doing this podcast for a while now. And then your story between now and then, and just kind of hear the whole daggum thing. So that said, walk us through, man. Talk about where you were in life prior to the cleaning business and how you wandered in.
Sure. Before I was in the cleaning business, I was a teacher and a school administrator. And I got burned out on teaching and tried a couple of other things. And I came across the cleaning industry, and I felt like it was a really great opportunity for me to build a business, help people keep their buildings clean, and to be able to help other people earn a little bit of extra money.
All right. So I have comments on that already, but your sound sucks. And I should have said something before we started recording. And I didn't. Is there a different mic, speaker, anything? If not, we'll make it work. But there's anything you do to make it better. You're just a little tinny.
I'm not sure if I have. It would take
no is the answer. No is the answer. But I just thought if you had anything else, we'll try it. If not, we'll move on.
I have another mic I might be able to get out, but it would take me a few minutes to get set up.
We're going to make it work.
Okay.
If Rodney says anything important, I'll repeat it. So, first of all, I love that you started as a school administrator. Very rarely do I find government type employees attracted to, because, I feel like there's a spectrum, right? And government is way over to like lots of regulation and shut up and sit down and do it our way. And entrepreneurial is like the complete opposite. How did you go that far without getting the bends coming up? Like, that's a big switch, man.
I think honestly, there was a little bit of the bends coming out of it. It was, I think I'd always been entrepreneurial in general, but I enjoyed teaching, and, moved into administration, just realized it was just not right for me. And I really did want to feed my entrepreneurial spirit. And so I moved into the cleaning world.
Beautiful. All right. So that makes sense. Yeah, it's just such a weird, rarely do you find that. Like, that's just such a non-entrepreneurial deal. All right, so you started in 2008. When did, what, if you remember, if you don't, that's okay. Do you remember what year you came on the podcast? First of all, how'd you find us? What made you come on the podcast? And do you remember kind of where you were when we spoke that time?
Sure. When I came in, when I first got connected with you, I'm pretty sure it was probably Natalie, your lovely wife, that reached out to me. I'm guessing you guys were probably just starting the podcast, and I had a pretty solid.
If you were number 6, we were starting.
I had a pretty strong online presence at the time, so you guys probably came across me at some point. And
okay, so we found that, we don't even do that anymore. All you guys come to us. So you're like, no. This is back in the day when no one had heard of you, and you came to me. So I didn't even know. Perfect. How was your business? What was it at? What did we talk about? Or do you even remember it?
Oh yeah, I do. I think the biggest thing we talked about was establishing core values. And I had a series of core values that I worked with that, because Office Pride is a franchise company, that I worked with on them. And you talked to me about, rebuilding my core values and, how how it was, that was great for the, franchise company, but I really needed to look at, mine and where I stood. And it did take a while, but, in between time, I established my own mission and vision statement, and, and then that grew into establishing my own core values, which are just really key for how I run my business now. It's those core values that make the big difference.
So first of all, I love that, by the way. And it's so funny. We definitely spend a lot of time teaching core values, and our kind of beginning students are more, or clients are more into like, how do I get customers? How do I get employees? And those are important. Please don't hear me downplaying that. But the more advanced kind of we get, and the more growth we get, the more successful they get, it shifts into, how do I improve the quality of my life? How do I improve the impact I make on the world? And that has a lot to do with the core values that we run our company and our life with. So I love Rodney was already in that stage, and now obviously continues to be in. So how did you go from podcast guest to guy that was a part of our program? What made you be like, I need more than just the 20 minutes of this knucklehead that reached out to me for?
Well, it was the biggest thing for me that made the shift was a major change for me in my life. In September of 2019, I had a major stroke. When I first got to the hospital, I was diagnosed at a level where I had about a 25% chance of survival.
Wow.
And because of
just so everyone knows, it's not seeing, Rodney is you don't have to share your age, but you look like a young guy. Rodney's not in his 70s when this happened. Like, this is a middle-aged man.
No, I had my stroke at 47, which is considered extraordinarily young for a stroke.
That sounds, to me, that sounds, I'm 47, so that can't, or I'm 46, my birthday is in a couple days, so I'm like, that can't be old. But to me, that's all the 20-year-olds out there like, 47, you might as well be dead. But all these middle-aged people are like, that's a very young age for a stroke. Let's just be clear. But all right, go ahead. So holy heck, walk us through that.
Yeah, it was, I got amazing treatment at 2 different hospitals. And, they diagnosed, the blood clot that had ended up in my brain, and took care of it very quickly. I had some surgery to get the rest of it out. And because of amazing medical care, 2 days later, I literally walked out of the hospital.
That's insane. And did you have speech impediments, thinking impediments, cognition, or were you just like regular old Rodney?
Well, very close, very close. There's still... Fortunately, because of the amazing medical care I got, a lot of the...
Where'd you go, by the way? Might as well give a shout out to these amazing human beings.
Oh, yeah. It was, here I'm in the Denver area with the Parker Adventist Hospital and St. Anthony's Hospital.
Beautiful. Well, hey, again, if people are doing such great work, we should tell the world. So go ahead.
Absolutely. And they, and so I had very little physical issues, and those have since, resolved themselves. There's still some cognitive issues that I deal with occasionally, but they're very minor in comparison, especially considering the level of stroke that I had. And so, after doing that, I had been, I've been listening to your podcast all the way along and everything, and I realized that I had a really good business, but because something else like this might happen again, I needed to get my business to a point, to the next level. And really be able to say, okay, I've got this business can literally run on its own if I need to, can be managed by other people if something were to happen to me. Because in the stroke world, if you have one stroke, you have a significantly greater chance of having a second one within 3 years.
Are you more than 3 years out?
I'm about 18 months right now.
All right. We will keep our fingers crossed. The thing I want you guys and gals in Clean Nation to hear is, I think we all have some degree of, something could happen to me. Right. But even as a semi-old man at 46, we're like, I'll never die. It'll never happen to me. And I'm sure 1.5 seconds before his stroke, Rodney had that same belief, which is crazy. We're all going to die. 100% of us, right? God forbid it happens at 47, but it's going to happen. So I would encourage all of you guys. It sucks that most of us, the way we're wired as humans, have to go through something as, I don't want to say catastrophic, because it sounds like I don't want to say you're just dancing between the raindrops on that one, buddy. Like, you really could have had a much different outcome. But waiting for some sort of life-changing event like that, before we make it a reality, guys, gal, and again, this isn't a pitch for me. This is a pitch for change, right? If you think we'd be a good fit, reach out. We'll do what we can to help you. If not, find somebody, do something. But even that, Rodney, I think a lot of people would have gone through that experience, said, okay, and gone right back to work with no changes. What made you go, nope, I got to do something different?
Well, it's when, after it happened, there was about 8 weeks before I could really come back and start working again. And I had a great team that really, kept things mostly going while I was out. But it made me realize that, this could happen again, and for my customers, for my staff, for my family, I need to have things in place and have things ready to go in case it does happen again. Because I wanted to be fair to everybody else. The business can't revolve around me. It has to revolve around itself.
So walk us through that transition, if you would, because I know everyone, again, most of us are in that pre-event, life-changing event. We're like, it'd be nice. But what did it feel like before? What changes did you make? And how's it feel now?
Well, now it feels great. I think, the big changes that I've put together are, first of all, hiring really great people and getting rid of some people that were on my team that weren't really great. Again, going back to the core values, are these people core values matches? And if they are, we know if something happens, they're going to do a great job no matter what, because they match our core values.
So how do you respond to people who are like, I get it, Rodney. I would love to hire people with my core values, but you don't understand. No one in my town wants to work. They're all lazy. No one shares. Everyone sucks. I can't pay enough. I'm sure, I don't know if you ever told yourself any of those lies, but talk through to some of the people that are telling themselves those beliefs.
Oh, absolutely. That I can honestly say I had that attitude for a very long time. And it's, we're all in the same boat. You can say, you don't understand, my situation's different. Well, not really.
Not really.
It really isn't. It's when you know your core values, it's when you establish them, and it's when you clearly communicate them in your help wanted ads, in your interview questions, in your orientation, and in your everyday life when you're working with your customers and with your staff. That's when those people come out, and they're there. But it's when we have the attitude of everybody's terrible, nobody wants to work hard, we're going to find those people who are terrible and don't want to work hard. But when we have the attitude of, here's our core values, here's what we stand for, if you agree with them and you'd like to learn a little extra money, come and work for us. Those people come out of the woodwork and find us.
And it's crazy because I can hear some of Cleaning Nation saying, so come on, Rodney, you're saying if I literally just change my attitude and my standards, and to be fair, your systems, right? It's not like you just change your attitude and your standards. You also change your systems, but all of them change to be more core value centric. That's all I have to do. And magically people are just going to show up. I know it's like, my answer would be like, yeah, but what say you?
I don't know if I would use the word magically, because there's a lot of hard work involved with it.
Good point.
You gotta put in the work, and you gotta stand by your core values.
So what's that work look like? Tell me about that.
Oh, it's you have to be sure that you're keeping up with your hiring. You're following your processes on that. And you're doing your interviews regularly, and that you have to make sure that your help wanted ads really do reflect what you want to share in your core values. Like recently, I went back through my interview questions that I utilized and realized that there were a couple of questions in there that didn't really pertain to anything around our core values. And so I took those out and went, are there any other questions I could ask that would help me understand if someone meets our core values? And I spoke with my existing teams and talked about our core values with them. And what would a fellow employee look like that also upheld our core values? What should I ask them? And so I got a lot of feedback from them as well.
And honestly, that Work is a good word. I think as you were speaking about making sure our ads match and everything matches and talking to the employees and sticking with our systems and our plan, that sounded as much work as it did discipline. Like it doesn't sound like you're like, I spent more hours per week working on my core values. It doesn't sound like, obviously you might change your hiring ad, which would take time once, or you change a cut. So it's not like I literally like, okay, I'm going to get to work. What are you working on? I'm working on my core values. It sounds like you were more disciplined in the work that you already did. You were doing the same work in a different way.
Yeah, it is. It's not like a whole ton of extra stuff. And discipline is a good word around that. Staying focused on those core values and staying disciplined with what you're doing. It's not, it's not going to just magic. You're not going to be able to just sit back on your lounge chair and do nothing and have it all work and have it all come together. But it's not like it's a super stressful thing. It's going to take a whole lot of extra time. It's just making sure you're focused on the right stuff and being disciplined to do it.
So how does that work? Give us, because again, that's a bit of discipline, and really the work, in my opinion, or from my perspective, would be on you and your beliefs, or me and my beliefs, right? Like how we look at employees and in our relationship, and that growth internally can be uncomfortable, and that would be the quote unquote work. So because we know the cost, right? Like we have to be disciplined, we have to do stuff differently, we have to step out our comfort zone, things are going to feel different. Walk us through the benefit. Why? Because if I'm listening, I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe I don't get it. I don't get how all this work is going to make my life all that much better.
Well, I think it makes you better in so many different ways. Like right now, when I have my teams out in the field, I'm sure they're going to show up. I'm not spending my whole night going, are these people even going to show up for work? Am I worried about them calling out at the last second?
So I'm hearing two things. One, Rodney doesn't work ever.
No, I don't work ever.
Well, I shouldn't say work clean.
Yeah,
right?
clean.
Obviously, yeah. Don't let your wife hear this. She'll be pissed if you're like, oh, I'm completely retired. Like, I thought you were working for a living, you jerk. So Rodney isn't clean ever. He always works on his business, not in it. And two, Rodney doesn't have fear and anxiety around, is tonight the night I go? Will I have to stop? So he can kind of really focus on and not be worried about if or even when he'll be pulled in. Again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is that where you're at?
Oh yeah, no, that's right. And it also helps me too, because I know that my team is not only be out there showing up, but doing a great job, because we know they fit our culture, and that's the culture we've built. And I'm not going to have to worry about, am I going to get that call tomorrow morning from a client who's upset because my person just kind of skeeted through the night. They're going to get out there and they're going to work hard. One of our core values is take responsibility. To us, that means, do what you say you're going to do, and get the job done promptly. And if there's an issue, take responsibility for what you did or did not do.
So that leads perfectly into kind of the last thing I want to end up with in terms of really being able to build a team of core values. I hear a lot of pain going away. I'm not afraid they're going to not show up. I'm not afraid they're not going to do a good job. I'm not afraid I have to clean. I'm not going to kind of a lot of stress and anxiety gone. And I remember when I had my cleaning company, that was my big, I'm going to get a call at 2 a.m. with an alarm going off in the background, and the police are on their way, and I can't find the key, and wake up and deal with this problem because I'm not equipped or interested. Just sucked. So that I get, not to minimize that, but it actually gets better than that. So how has your ability to, it seems like they're completely unrelated, right? But I find the longer I coach this, the more I see your ability to have a good team that you're confident in, right? Rodney's like, not only can be out there, do a good job. When I sell something, I have no fear that Rodney's going to be cleaning. I have no fear that Rodney's going to be, I'm sorry, or making excuses or trying to fix some sort of mess that they've made. How is your core values-based team and your confidence in, if this guy quits or moves on, that's okay, I'll get another one? How has that affected your ability to attract clients?
Oh, I think it really helps in many different ways. When I'm talking with potential clients, I can tell them about how awesome a team I have, and I'm being honest about it. They can tell if you're not telling the truth on things. And so I can talk about my team in an honest way that they're amazing people. I'm more confident in going out, and I don't have that, I can say back, before there was, I'd go out on a call and be like, oh, I hope I can find somebody to work this, or I'm going to have to clean it for a while till I can hire somebody. I don't have to worry about that because I've got a great group, great team of people that will take care of it. And if I do have to hire somebody, I've got the hiring funnel ready to go. It's in process. It's constantly moving to fill, and it gives me a lot more confidence when I'm out marketing and talking with potential customers that I can get them, I can take care of them, I can get them on quickly and do a great job. And it helps significantly on the sales side of things.
And having coached this a few thousand times, I can't emphasize that enough. And we do a lot of how to do client attraction and funnels and Facebook ads and lead pages and just all this sort of cool stuff, which is great. But if I could only pick one thing to pick, like what's the one gift you could give? Is it good paid ads? Is it good, copywriting? Is it good whatever? To get clients, I would literally say the confidence that we've got qualified people. Because again, it's just internal tug of war. If I'm looking at Rodney in the eyes and in the back of my head, I'm like, it's going to be great, Rodney. We're going to do a great job. But in my heart, I'm like, I don't know if we are going to do a great job. We're all mostly, Cleaning Nation. You guys and gals are pretty good men and women of integrity. It's really hard to sell when you're like, I don't want to lie, and people pick up on that, right? They kind of get that vibe. And the second part is just to say it, it's the meaning to be like, I'm out here representing myself as an owner, and the reality, I'm even here cleaning. Like it feels out of integrity and it feels disingenuous, and aside from not being fun, it's super ineffective. The good news is the flip side is also true. When Rodney has the confidence, like I have a team of people and a steady stream of qualified people coming in as we grow, or if someone leaves or whatever, I can look you right in the eye with not a beat. We will have a good team of people here. And I'm not in the back of my mind going, yeah, team of people's me at midnight. Like that ain't it. I love it. So I just want to encourage guys, gals, that culture really, I could talk about, talk about culture for days, but that's the big one. All right. We're going to call it a day. Rodney, give us any parting wisdom. What's the number one piece of advice, word of wisdom you can give to Cleaning Nation before we go?
I think, I'm just going to echo what we've kind of said along the way today. If you haven't established a great culture and you don't have your core values know what they are, get those in place. The culture of your company is the foundation for what's going to build on everything else.
Having sold several multi-million-dollar companies, if I could pick one thing, it would be culture. Couldn't agree more, Rodney. All right, guys, gals, if you're wanting to be like, hey, I like what Rodney's picking up, I want more of that. Or you're like, I'm dying to build a culture. How do I do all this stuff? GrowMyCleaningCompany.com has got hundreds and hundreds of hours of training. Our on-demand training is probably the best 40, 50 minutes I got. We got a Facebook group. There's all sorts of resources, everything you need to grow your cleaning company. I think if you go to GrowMyCleaningCompany.com/event, we have a live event coming up in a couple weeks for a couple $100. Check that out. We will see you there. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you're fired up, ready to grow, and want to see if you have what it takes to work with us at Grow My Cleaning Company, here's what I want you to do right now. Go to GrowMyCleaningCompany.com/talk. That's GrowMyCleaningCompany.com/talk to book an appointment to speak with me personally. I'm going to jump on the phone with you to get you crystal clear on where you are now, where you want to be, and how to get you there. Don't walk around in the dark any longer. If you are serious about growing your cleaning company, it's time to finally get the systems in place that you need to grow. We've helped hundreds of owners of cleaning companies not only grow their business and their personal freedom, but give back to their community as well. If that's what you're looking for, head over to GrowMyCleaningCompany.com/talk and book a time to talk with me personally. I can't wait to get to know you and your business.